So I'm looking at the Rotten Tomatoes scores for the Last Jedi, and as you can see, 93% critic reviews, 55% audience reviews. There's quite a discrepancy here, and starting to see a few YouTube videos that are trying to justify the critic reviews and dismiss the audience reviews. Just so you know, I wasn't a fan of The Last Jedi. I think it's a movie with a great many flaws, and I think a audience score of 55% is still a little too high. I would put it mid-40s myself. But there seems to be a developing narrative that the reason why the audience reviews are so low is because of hardcore Star Wars fans, which I don't consider myself to be, but we had our expectations subverted, and that's the reason why people were disappointed with what they got. So in this video, I want to explain why I believe that this is a fallacy and offer my explanation of why I think the audience score is so low. So I think people enjoy having their expectations subverted. The best example I can give for this is Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones, nothing goes the way you ever want it to. It's kind of frustrating, but it also makes the show so compelling. I mean, if you think back to Oberyn versus the Mountain, nobody wanted the Mountain to win. Everyone wanted Oberyn to win, because that means that Tyrion wouldn't be executed for murder. But the exact opposite of what pretty much everyone hoped would happen, happened. And in turn, this made the show even more interesting. It made the books infinitely more interesting. People enjoy having their expectations subverted, just not when it's done badly, like it is in The Last Jedi. So let's take an example from The Last Jedi, namely, I think the one that's causing the most controversy, Rey's parents. So I've seen this argument a few places now, that the reveal that Rey's parents are of no one of any importance is actually a good thing. It's actually a bold artistic choice that I have heard described as a satisfying conclusion to that story arc. And my biggest problem with this is, if that is the case, this should really have been addressed in The Force Awakens.
I see your eyes. You already know the truth. Whomever you're waiting for on Jakku, they're never coming back.
This scene from The Force Awakens is where this information should have been revealed. She's already accepted that whoever she's waiting for, her parents, they ain't coming back for her. So why not just reveal who her parents are here, instead of stringing the mystery out into another movie? So if people come to The Last Jedi with expectations, it's only because The Force Awakens put them there. And this is ultimately why I think The Last Jedi is getting such a low audience score. The Last Jedi just can't cash the checks that Force Awakens wrote. So what do I mean by this? Well, when I went to see The Force Awakens, I didn't particularly enjoy the film. I thought it was okay, but there were a number of gaping plot holes and mysteries in there that I just found frustrating and just seemed to make no sense to me. The obvious one is, why is Rey so good at using the Force without any training? Now, this complaint was usually waved away with, oh, well, in the flashbacks, it clearly seems like she was trained by Luke Skywalker. Ooh, maybe she's related to Obi-Wan Kenobi, maybe she's related to Luke, and maybe that's why she's so good at using the Force. So, those criticisms were essentially parked. Like, the Force Awakens wrote a check just saying, hey, look, when the next movie comes out, don't worry, you can be able to cash that check in and it'll explain it all. It'll explain it all why Rey's so great at using the Force. Didn't happen. It couldn't cash those checks. It had no interest in explaining that. We just now have to accept that Rey, without any training, is capable of defeating Kylo Ren, who seems to have a great deal of training under both Luke and Snoke. Now, to a degree, I have to admit this is kind of unfair to The Last Jedi, in that Rian Johnson as a filmmaker shouldn't necessarily be beholden to the guy that came before him to resolve these questions. But then I think you just got to accept that this movie is going to receive poor reviews because the previous film set up these mysteries and revealed them in a very underwhelming and boring reveal that didn't add a great deal to the character. But anyway, thanks for watching. Click the like button if you want, or click the dislike button. It's entirely up to you. And I might release more videos on this subject if you people find them interesting. Thanks for watching, and see you later.